Hey guys, Mitch from iMove Physio Panania. I was going to do a live, but I've been having an issue with my phone's internet connection. It's not letting me do it for some reason. So I thought I'd just do a video and upload it instead. And if you've got any questions, you can just post them in the comments, and we'll try and respond to them as quick as possible. So what I wanted to talk about very briefly was calf pain during running. Now this is something I get a lot from a lot of people who are either just new to running or have increased their running volume or have increased their running speed. And the interesting thing about this within the running community and even the research community, there isn't a lot of research in behind different causes of calf pain, especially the very general calf pain where you're just getting pain in the posterior part of the calf or even the anterior part of the calf. It's not specific, it's sort of around the entire muscle. It happens during the run, it hangs around afterwards, it might be sore for a day or two after, and then it sort of settles down. Now, I was an interesting podcast I was listening to yesterday by Tom Goon and David Pope, and they were talking about a type of, not sort of a condition, but a phrase he uses called biomechanical overload syndrome, which I found quite interesting, because when I've had people come in with calf pain after running, I'm obviously looking for some sort of diagnosis. Have they torn it? Have they strained it? Is there something more serious, like a tendinopathy, or is it potentially like a compartment syndrome type pain? And basically, if it's not one of those things, we're kind of left stumped, and the treatment for that is actually quite simple for this type of biomechanical overload syndrome type pain. So if you're one of those people that's getting calf pain during your runs, sort of halfway through your run, or as soon as you try and pick up the tempo, or as soon as you're going for a second or a third run, and you find that you're quite sore in the back of the calves or anywhere in that region, couple of things you should do to try and manage it. First of all, go in and see a health professional to make sure it's not something more serious that needs a really structured management plan. Make sure it isn't something like a tendinopathy or a tear or a strain or something like compartment syndrome. Make sure you get that looked at and assessed. And if it is something more like this biomechanical overload syndrome, the main management plan from then is just real load management. And that's such a common feature in a lot of our videos and things that we're putting up about running, is that managing your load throughout your training is the biggest thing. Now, the reason I'm talking about this today is today's the first day I've gone for a second run in a week. I went for my first run on Tuesday. I did a session at CrossFit on Wednesday with lots of squats. So I woke up this morning with really sore quads, really sore glutes and hammies, and I thought, I'll go for an interval run today. And I found every time on the 3 fast intervals that I did, as soon as I tried to go faster and pick up my pace, my calves were they were burning, they were screaming during the run. And typical runner, I pushed through it and kept going, and then at the end of the run my calves are quite sore, and I suspect they're going to be quite sore tomorrow and even possibly over the weekend. Now, this is probably due to 2 factors. It's due to the amount of training I've done in the last 3 days. It's a much bigger load than what I'm used to, so my calves aren't accustomed to that load just yet, as well as me picking up the amount of running volume I'm doing. So my overall training's increased quite substantially. I did a whole bunch of squats yesterday. I did 5k run on Tuesday, and then I've just done a 5k interval session today. So I've sort of broken our 10% rule, which isn't good practice by me, but I woke up this morning knowing that I could do it, and I wanted to see how it would feel and how my calves would hold up, because they've been my main issue. Now, if you're one of those people who's a runner and your calves get quite sore, as I said, come in and see a health professional. Get something, make sure it's not something more serious like a strain or a tear or a tendinopathy or something in its early stages. If it is something more like this biomechanical overload syndrome, the best way is going to be load management. So really being smart with steadily increasing how much you're running, as well as looking at all of the other factors like how much you're drinking. Plenty of this after every run and during the day, as well as your eating and your sleeping and your stress and all that sort of stuff. So that's also why we ask you some weird questions during our clinics, asking you how your work is, do you like your job, are you getting sleep, how much do you eat, what sort of food do you eat, all that sort of stuff is very important for the management of any injury or any problem that you've got during your training. And yeah, so I just wanted to briefly talk about that. If you've got any questions about calf pain or calf issues or anything with your load management, please post them to the comments, and we'll give you the best answer that we possibly can, or pop in or call one of the clinics and talk to one of the really knowledgeable physios there. All right, have a great Arvo.